Oh God, I hope that works. I am so tired of frickin' problems this morning. Like, I got problems, big problems, the meanest of problems. And I just hope that one worked. Let me see here. No live chats yet. That's okay. We got all. We'll say hello. Let's see if that works as the angry tabletop nerd doeth. And we'll go over here. Got to sound check myself. What the hell? Oh, hold on. Did I get a message? No. Nope, that was just an Instagram thing. Okay. All right. Come on, Rumble app. There I am. Here we go. All right, now that Zed has gotten here, the party can begin. I better put this on, what do you call it here? Vibrate. There was a show I wanted to do, but I just didn't have the time for it. I didn't have it in me. I couldn't get these fast enough, and I also missed my deadline to wake up. I was supposed to wake up at what do you call it? 5:30. I got up at 6:26. I try not to set alarms. You're supposed to have kind of an internal alarm clock, and usually I have a pretty good one. Like if I go back to bed at 4, I can get up at 5. But not so much anymore. It seems like I'm going to have to set a alarm very soon. So how's everyone doing this morning? Give me a sound check just over there on YouTube. I know I'm working on Rumble, but I've had some bugs this morning. Let's start with some of those bugs. Came down, no microphone. Okay, got the microphone working. Um, and then I turned on the big cam. Big cam crashes OBS. Okay, those two bugs are taken care of. That's always on every Sunday. And it's after I run sudo apt update reboot. And good news is, I want to shout out to Mustard there. He helped me get my time shift software working. So now my computer is backed up whenever I so desire. It's supposed to make 3 backups a week, and then after I think a month, it deletes those 3 and makes 3 new backups. So at any given time, I have like 9 backups that I can choose from, and that's all on my external hard drive right there. So other than that, I'm thinking about getting one of those micro Linux PCs. Um, I don't know which one I'm gonna take, but I know I gotta buy a new computer this year. I've been putting it off, and I've been trying not to put it off either. If you're over there on Patreon, you still have time to watch the battle report rematch between my Iron Warriors and the Night Lords, and then I think I have one more. I have a battle report, another 30K battle report that I'm gonna edit up here, and then I'm hoping to make a conquest battle report. Just have a conquest game. I got to get some shit going here together on Discord for where I live to see if I can get some old world games. Seems like the YouTube algorithm only gives a shit about me if I'm talking about old world tournaments. I guess the year ender did okay. It just didn't do okay enough. Still really going hard in search of that 80 to 100 likes per video when I do a show, and I'm not getting there. I'm running out of steam, it seems like, and I'd like to have more steam because I'm trying to do regular releases, and I've got problems galore on this hobby bench now. But I've actually cleared a lot of it. You know those 2 Pegasus Knights that have been on the table the whole year for War Master? They're over there in the complete pile. I did a shit ton of Death Guard this weekend. Did 10 las cannon guys, one of which is the sergeant who doesn't get to carry a las cannon, an Apothis Medicaid, and a tech priest. And then I did 2 haywire rapier batteries. And so they're all done. I'll probably put those up on a on a complete works video later on, because I want to just get my hobby updates out there, kind of like VK, my hero, VK von Ketteringham. And what's up, Hungar? How you doing? I know. Well, there's some cheap PCs out there. God, there was one I watched a review for. I don't know if I deleted the review. Hold on. Go into my history. The Geekcom A7 Max. I might do one of those mini Linux PCs because I don't need a huge high-end gaming computer. This, ever since I switched it to Linux, fucking amazing. Like, I'm not even using. I'm using 32% of my CPU right now, and this is an i7. All right, this is an older computer with 16 gigs of RAM. I could upgrade the RAM if I had $600. Maybe I waited too long, but yeah, I want to. Let me see here. I'm just gonna go to the Geekcom website. Okay, powerful mini PCs on sale here. So let's just. I'm just gonna run through what I see here. What is the Geekcom A5 Pro? I'll just describe it. So some of these Geekcom computers are literally $429. That's like one that $379 to $429, but they're more friendly to Linux. But what I'm looking to do is maybe I can buy one that's more high end. My budget for a desktop is 1,400. I put the money that I made last year from Patreon aside for that and say into my savings, not my checking. And I wrote down for a new PC. But some of these I might save a little bit of money by going to these Geek Coms or something like that. So, and I could get one that just has Linux Mint installed on it, or I can set up a Linux network, which I know how to do now. And because of oh, hold on, what is that file name? Because of system D stop SSH, I can enable that, and I can activate my PC from elsewhere in a Linux terminal, and I'd have access to my shit. So, look at that, bam! I'm learning. I've been studying Linux, and I'm going to become the arch meme, this big fat guy in sweatpants and a t-shirt with the arch uh, shirt on. That's gonna be me. And he's kind of like, he looks like the comic book store guy, but he's the Wojak. But no, so New Year's resolutions this year. I have I'm gonna continue just Benkyo Renshu Shimashou Nihongo Benkyo practice and study Japanese. I did that for about 25 minutes yesterday. I have some shikudai ga arimasu. I have some homework from my Japanese teacher. It's second grade homework and it does take me about 20 minutes to translate 2 sentences because there are some things that I don't understand, like expressive terms and language and expressive dialect. There's a lot of that stuff that I don't understand that a native speaker would automatically understand. Let me see here. There's just what is this? There's okay. So gyun gyun kurai kunate. It's getting dark or something like that. That's basically like that kind of shit. Frickin' no idea whatsoever on how to operate any of that crap. But yeah, I'm gonna look at. I guess all they sell is mini PCs. Accessories. Ooh, I might be able to get some decent accessories. UHB hub, $40. Oh, they got a GeekCom video game controller. I can get one of those curved monitors. Yes. So yeah, gonna double up on my Japanese. I'm gonna set a budget this year for my games because I would like to go back to Japan. Of course, the moment you come back from vacation, I was gonna go on this vacation either way, but the moment you come back from vacation, I have to, now that it's a new year, I have to file my taxes and buy a water heater. Or I'll have a plumber come out and take a look at things first. But yeah, I have to buy that because my water heater is like 10 years old, and I only got like, I think the max amount of hot water I have is 25 minutes. I think it's a little bit less than that. It might be 18 minutes. But that thing's, the last time that thing was serviced was 2025. When it comes to plumbing, I mean, on New Year's Day, I snaked a drain and put some baking soda and vinegar down that and watched that fizz up, and everything goes away, and I put a screen that catches hair in that drain, so there's stuff like that. But let's see here. Learn Linux more. I have a book coming. I have a book on the way. William Schatz's The Command Line. So that's inbound. Oh, whoa, Shadow, how are you? It looks like I caught you before church. You have a good day, Shadow. Thank you. And then we got Bo. Oh, Bo Paints Minis. Good morning. How are you, Bo? It's good to see you. That's nice of you to show up. And then we got a Fenditron 69. And then let's see here. Evil Abe Lincoln. Hey, buddy. Well, good to see you. And I just want to wish everybody a happy new year there. And so I keep getting a little bit of housekeeping. I keep getting messages from people that I got to do a collaboration with Dragons and Diversity and Dragons. I would love to collab with Diversity and Dragons. I've already contacted him. I don't think that he's going to pick me up at all. I just gave him I said hello in a super chat. He says he has 2 armies and everything, but I'm not going to push the issue myself. I think my viewers, if you're dedicated to me getting on his show, you're going to have to clip my videos and send them to him on X. I believe he's on X. He's not on Instagram, and I'm not on X. I should probably open an X account, but yeah, if you guys want me to be on Diversity and Dragons and have a talk with him, because reasons. I've watched this stuff. It's pretty good. If you want me to be on that show, you guys just have to clip my works and go to him directly. And if people keep sending him my stuff, maybe he'll reach out to me. That's all I can hope for. Other than that, there's not a whole lot I can do. The guy's completely in a whole other league. I mean, my theory is now that, I've been fighting the good fight in the hobby space for damn near 10 years now. Well, I'm going to say since 2017. Since 2017, I've been fighting the good fight. I think people want content creators like me. I just don't think they want it to be me. They don't want it to be me. Because like I said, in the last stream, I always come with a sledgehammer to the argument. I come with a sledgehammer and I drop the bombs, and he's more focused on the Dungeons and Dragons side. I'm more focused on the wargaming side, and nobody cares in wargaming. That's something that Cornite Care Bear and I talked about. Just like, have you seen nerds? Have you seen your average Warhammer nerd and how they'll simp for anything these days? And that's kind of a non-issue there, So yeah, if you guys want me on Diversity and Dragons, I would appreciate. And you guys have all the permission in the world. This channel belongs to you. It belongs to the regulars who show up and everything. If you want me to be on Diversity and Dragons, clip my videos and just send them out to him. I know that Evil Abe Lincoln can do that. I know that Moonbad can do that. Olinius Pius can do that. Um, there's oh, I know Crown of Command. Josh over at Crown of Command could probably do that. I mean, a recommend from somebody with a 10K, that goes a long way. But yeah, he's in a completely different league. It would be cool though. It would be cool to get some different kind of traffic going. But um, I'm just trying to think about what is my show, you know, at least this year. So let's see here. The fair of the day. We got the fair of the day today, and I asked, so I've already heard like nasty fucking rumors. I want to hear your opinion on this in chat. Nasty rumors is the Venezuelans allowed us to go in there, and TFM, Turd Flinging Monkey, said this. Oh, we were allowed to, his one theory, and this is one theory that he pushed, that we were allowed to go in there and take Maduro. We were just allowed to go in there and take Maduro. The government stood down and allowed us to do that. And you got all the magatards out there who are all like, yeah, rah, 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 America, look, yeah, coming to save the motherfucking day. Yeah, you got all the magatards out there going, yeah, we're back, baby. Were we allowed to do this? You know, I have a couple. My theory is, I saw a lot of ordnance come up, and that's probably just one video. You probably didn't see other videos of where our ordnance got launched. And, you know, Top Gun Maverick is a good source for this, of what some of our missiles are capable of doing. So, you know, so we could send, you know, that could have just been one film where ordnance came in, disables everything around the presidential palace. Helicopters go in, they take Maduro. As for their air force, Venezuela doesn't have an air force. As for their air defenses, we probably disabled a great deal of their air defenses for this attack. And I know that a group I think there's 2 carriers in the Caribbean right now, maybe 3. I know that those carrier groups have more firepower than the conventional, than all of the fleets that we had in World War II. Just 2 carrier groups take on everything. But you know, actually you know what would be funny is if you were to transport some of these ships back in time, they would get their butts kicked, because without satellites, they have no way to lock onto targets, and the battleships would sink the carriers, and that would be it. I mean, how much of the laser-guided shit works without satellites? You might be able to fuck a lot of shit up with your jets, but once you run out of machine gun bullets, there's really nothing you can do. I'm sure some of that simple laser-guided stuff works, but like, without satellite linking and everything like that to guide the weapons and the missiles, you're basically just dead in the water. You might be able to sink one of the, if one of our carriers took a hit from one of the IO class guns, you're destroyed. End of story. Those guns are still powerful enough to demolish any target on the water to this day. So I kind of have a little open-end conversation. According to the reports, Maduro and his wife were seized from their home within a military installation in Caracas during the surprise U.S. military operation that included airstrikes across Venezuela. The Venezuelan Vice President, Deluque, I don't know how, Delce Rodriguez called it a barbaric and illegitimate kidnapping and attack on Venezuelan sovereignty. Other Venezuelan officials describe it as kidnapping the president and first lady of our country. And to that, all I got to do is say, what are you going to do, Venezuela? You're going to sanction us with your navy? Uh-oh, y'all don't have a navy, so y'all better shut the fuck up. Doing what we did actually kind of hurts China. China has been dealing with Venezuela. They get Venezuelan oil. And I think what we're doing is we're sending a message the enemy, I guess. I don't want China as an enemy, but we're sending the message that we can still fuck shit up because of the entire Ukraine debacle. We had 3 years of Biden fucking up in Ukraine. And then when they handed it back over to Trump because they thought he could unfuck it, it was too late. That's what a lot of people never talk about in the media. It was too late. Russia owns Ukraine. I even talked to this old Ukrainian lady the other day during a lunch at my Japanese tutor's house. And I said, well, don't you consider yourself Russian because of Catherine the Great? To an extent, she said yes. But there's a lot of things that happened in 1917 that they're still living in the fallout of today. The communists didn't come as friends back then, And of course there was pressure from Germany during World War I. If you guys either for the Russians to surrender, stand down, or we will take as much of Russia as we wanted, and they were just going to take all of Ukraine, which Germany had gotten by 1918, but they never would have enough time to get the supplies out of Ukraine to restock their armies and rebuild some of their mammoth field pieces that they needed before the 1918 offensive that would retake a lot of Verdun. The operation was conducted without Venezuelans' consent. No shit, Sherlock. Without Venezuelan consent, and involved bombing military installations, killing at least 40 people, civilians, including civilians and soldiers. The U.S. acted unilaterally based on narco-terrorism charges against Maduro. Not any permission from the Venezuelan government. This represents what a legal expert describes as beyond the most high-profile historic examples of aggressive American actions towards autocratic governments. Well, we have this thing called the Monroe Doctrine, which says this side of the world belongs to us, and it does. End of story. I think we should go in and do the same thing to the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, because, I've always been interested. How did Claudia Sheinbaum, a fucking Jew, and I mean that in the meanest possible way, all right, most anti-Semitic way, how does a Jew become president of a 99% Catholic country? If anybody has any answers to that, put that in the chat. How does a Jew become president of Mexico? So, you know what? Here's another thing, Mexico. What is it with you guys in electing a woman? I mean, the abuela, the grandma, they do tend to run the households and everything like that. There is a little bit of matriarchy in Mexican culture, but there's still a very patriarchal group of men. And I just want to know, how does a Jew become president of Mexico? That's pretty sus right there. To an extent, I don't know what this is about. Do we colonize Venezuela afterwards? What do we do? I better defer to chat here. Yeah, I can't tell you, Bo. Is it? I mean, I don't even know at this point. Does this? I heard something. Okay, I'll just pin yours at the top. Because another war we can't afford because credit card, right? I don't know. If we start drawing oil out of Venezuela because they have more oil than Saudi Arabia, this could stabilize our dollar, especially if China has to buy it from us now, especially if we set up an infrastructure there which allows us to extract the oil. And this would employ the Venezuelan people, at least. Maybe they wouldn't be in for the starving times. And, that's strangely enough, one of the side things that I talk about in my upcoming show, and and one of the reasons is no jobs. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. Where's... Oh. Okay, so yeah, this is one thing, one problem we have in America is the outsourcing. The outsourcing in the name of climate change. No mining, no coal, no steel, not even burning trash to make power, no oil, you name it. Everything that includes climate change is about reducing our climate. It's about exporting anything that emits carbon and sending it overseas so that they can have jobs, but we're not employing Americans ourselves. So that much I can't tell you. Does this stabilize the petrodollar? Because, Biden fucked that up when he decided to seize a bunch of Russia. If we're the world reserve currency, at any given time, we are not allowed to cut you off from your money. We are not allowed to cut you off from your money. We need to be stable. You need to be able to trust us. We destroyed that trust during the Ukraine debacle. We'll turn the ruble into rubble, which we did for like a split moment, and then Russia just began selling the oil to China directly. Pipelines went up and they sent it to India, and India was happy to take a 20% markup and sell it back to those dumbass Eurotrash MFers. After we allegedly said, "Oh, Russia blew up their own pipeline," right? Yeah, am I right, folks? Seems like some sort of deal was made. Still impressive. I don't think there was a deal. I'll just put yours at the top. I don't think that there was a deal. Given the amount of ordnance that two carrier groups bring, I think what we have enough military capacity to stun any of the Southern American countries, to literally stun them. Think about it like shooting somebody with a potato gun. I don't think it's going to kill somebody, but it's going to fuck them up. You're going to fuck them up. You're going to fuck them up you probably break some of their ribs or something like that, and you're going to put them on the ground. Think about that. So you shoot somebody at 20 feet with a potato gun, they take the hit. That's how the military strike went down. I'm going to ask Leo another question here. Oh, that low. Okay. Okay, so I asked Leo another thing here, and that's he pulls from a couple of places, and I like this. I like how I can use AI as a news aggregator. I don't know how many people are doing that. Based on available information, there's no evidence, and this is in bold, of a backroom deal between the U.S. and Venezuela to remove Maduro. In fact, the opposite appears to be true. According to the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Little Marco, the U.S. gave Maduro very generous offers, and he could have left Venezuela as recently as a week and a half ago, with the opportunities to avoid all of this. However, Rubio stated the U.S. could not make a deal or arrangement with Maduro. Maduro did offer us everything that we wanted, like in that scene in Princess Bride where he's beating the six-fingered man. He's like, "Offer me money, offer me power," and the six-fingered man's like, "All that I have and more." And then Indigo Montoya stabs him in the stomach and says, "I want my father back, you son of a bitch." Really good movie. Glad it's not getting a remake. I mean, hopefully not within my lifetime. I'll call that one out of 10 things that I need. I don't need on a successful, prosperous life. I don't need a remake of The Princess Bride. I have to turn on my heater. Okay. The operation was conducted as a surprise military strike without Venezuelans' consent. Fuck Venezuelan consent. The U.S. stormed Maduro's home at 2:01 a.m. local time, cutting power to Caracas, capturing him before he could reach his safe room. And Trump said something about how, oh no, we had the blowtorches to get him out of the safe room within a couple of minutes if we had to. The Venezuelan officials condemned it as an illegal kidnapping and military aggression. Again, half of these with the exception of Brazil, which could probably fight back, none of the South American countries ain't shit. End of story. And here's another thing that really pisses me off. When is the United States going to run a 6-week training course? When is the United States going to run a 6-week training course to put its militia in the field? We you know what? I would love to join the militia. Let's deploy the militia. We can have 1 million soldiers with every 6 weeks that goes by. As long as you can run 1.5 miles in under 15 minutes, do 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups, and you're not a complete useless chud, you might qualify to be in the militia. Give you if you're willing to buy your own AR-15 and magazines, we'll supply the ammunition through taxpayer dollars. We'll supply the food. We'll give you a uniform, and you can go in there and take as much of that country as you want. And we don't do this. We could be the most powerful military on earth on the ground. And then this is the best part. Here's when we're dealing with militia, you allow the militia to elect their own commanders, and we are not beholden to the Congress, to the President of the United States. So all the Congress in the United States has to do once 1 million militia members are deployed is kind of just turn their back and be like, hey, y'all surrender yet, Iraq? Y'all surrender yet? And you allow the militia to act with impunity. If millions of people die because Americans are bloodthirsty and trigger happy, all you have to do is ask the leaders of this country, do you yield? Do you surrender? And that's what you do. You allow Americans to end the fighting. Sure, American citizens will die. We might get butchered by hamburger meat, but if we're backed up by our own military with drones and shit like that, we could really take some heads in just a matter of days. Just imagine 1 million militia soldiers deployed to a country, and they're killing people indiscriminately and taking what they want. And, you bring this fight to their women and their children. And then you make those, you make the so-called Islamic lions in their den tremble in fear. It would be a justified crusade, basically. You act the way you just turn your back. You allow us to elect our own commanders. You give us the guns. You give us the ammo, and we'll finish the fight. So with the U.S. apparently tied to the negotiation, Maduro's voluntary departure beforehand, he refused those offers, leading to the forcible military extraction. There was no agreement or deal with Venezuela, quite the opposite. The current Venezuelan government, this is in parentheses, still ran by Maduro loyalists, continue to call him the only president and denounce the U.S. action. Okay, denounce all you want. And we did... Last question. We did this in front of the Chinese. All right. All right. High-level Chinese delegations led by, I don't know what that is. We'll just say Zhao Ji, the special envoy of the Latin American Caribbean affairs for the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, met in Venezuela met the Venezuelan president and Nicolas Maduro in Caracas just hours before the U.S. military operation resulted in Maduro's capture. The meeting took place at Miraflores Palace and was part of a broad effort to reinforce strategic alliance between China and Venezuela. China has strongly condemned the U.S. military action, calling it a violation of international law and an attack on Venezuela's sovereignty. The Chinese delegation visits underscored Beijing's support for Maduro and the opposition to U.S. aggression. The diplomatic engagement occurred amid the escalating tensions between Venezuela and the United States, China positioning itself as a key ally to embrace U.S. influence in the world. To counterbalance a U.S. influence in the region. Okay, so here's the problem. China, if you want Venezuela and the oil that resides there, because I know you guys signed a contract, you're going to have to send a fleet. And, even though China has a lot of toys that make the noise, I don't think they could win an open naval engagement off the coast of any of the Caribbean islands. There's too much bullshit that can get in their way. Just like we couldn't win a naval engagement off the coast of China. We could not win a naval engagement off the coast of China. We might be able to fight China to a stalemate off the coast of Japan at great loss to ourselves, but China and Russia doesn't have a navy. Russia's basically a land power. They might have a couple of ships that can come out here and stay for a day or two, but then they'd be out of ordnance. So, this side of the world really belongs to us. But what really pisses me off, and I'm going to try to end it here, and then I'll take comments again. What really pisses me off is that Trump, at the beginning of his goddamn term, had some really, really good ideas that involved Greenland. All right? We should have just taken over Greenland, stolen their president, told Europe to go and fuck themselves, because what are those Eurotrash MFers going to do? Sanction us? You're going to sanction us? Y'all don't have an army in Europe. What? Is England going to send over a few old carriers that we have to maintain because they're too stupid? They're too stupid to keep places where they can rebuild their boats in their own goddamn country in the name of climate change. Again, in the name of climate change, you're not allowed to melt steel, which means you're not allowed to burn coal. I didn't know if you knew this. You can't repair your boats unless you burn coal to melt the steel. Jordan fades back. 3-pointer at the buzzer. The Bulls win by a single point. Okay? Again, all this climate change activism has wrecked the European economy. It is wrecking the United States economy. I do like the idea of these Trump-class battleships. And then I get all this bullshit flack from people who say, oh, the battleship is fucking out of date and blah, 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 blah. It never work. Yes, the battleship is out of date, but I don't think they have a grasping of what a modern battleship would be capable of. Would it be a massive drone carrier? Probably. Would it be a massive ordnance carrier? Yes. Would it have more guns than anything you've ever seen? Yeah. So let me see here. Let's say we were to use these new battleships as a defensive measure. They don't really travel too far in open water. They just go from point A right to point B, and they're used as a defensive measure. So let's say China were to come into the airspace of Japan, and the spearhead of the Chinese advance would be led by anywhere from 800 to 1,500 MiG-29 drones. Well, I believe we would have countermeasures, just drones with enough firepower that could be launched off of those ships to destroy 600 of those planes immediately. So a little bit of a preemptive, like, you just lost 600 drones. And then the Chinese would be forced to use their better shit. All right, without ramping that up. But we need to secure North America for the United States. This hemisphere needs to be secured for us. And on a business perspective, We can't have South American countries that are more friendly with the Chinese than they are with us. Uh, Having China build bases to build military installations to lock us in, that's a tactical disadvantage. We don't need China bringing nuclear ordnance to this hemisphere, and they probably already have. I wouldn't be surprised if Mexico launched a nuke at us. I mean, we all seen Red Dawn. They all came up through Mexico, and there was a back and forth battle for Texas. But we had a good thing going there, and then he just threw all these deals away. And like, okay, we should have sweetened the pot, bought off Denmark, took Greenland. That's number one. Told Canada, hey, shut the fuck up. You belong to us anyway. Or we could have just sanctioned Canada so hard and dared them to turn off the power. Because what are they going to do? Fight us? No, they're not going to fight us. They're not. Canada's not capable. They're going to talk a big game like most Canadians do. They're going to talk a big game, and then they're going to forget what they're doing and go watch hockey. All right, end of story. When they're busy not taking a vacation from doing nothing. All right. The word on the street is Word on the street is a lot of his inner circle were gotten to the CIA and wanted Maduro gone, which wouldn't surprise me, but they don't understand that is Faustian deal. Making a deal with the United States is like making a deal with the devil. Yeah, that is a Faustian deal. I just don't see how Venezuela could have defended against this attack. Especially if we at the same time struck their military capacity to fight back in the instant. Good morning, historical doppelganger. Uh-oh. Oh, well, that's nice of you to send a message. Yeah, my diehards, you just have to pester the man, and then maybe he'll reach out to me. I can't just invite myself on a show where the guy is actually. I mean, I watched one of his live streams. I'm a little bit jealous. The guy made like $300 while I was during the course of the hour I was watching. So that's somebody. And at this point on YouTube, I don't really have a future. I can kind of change things up a little bit this year and see if that works, but my viewership is in the toilet. I mean, my max reach for like any hobby related video. Oh, look, I painted this guy. It's like 20 likes. And it doesn't matter. And I'm going to try to keep it stable and not fall off, and see if that works. But I am pretty much at the end of my YouTube tether. I can hang out. I can hang out with you guys and continue to make content. And when I go to a fantasy tournament, I can make a video. I'll get noticed again for a couple of minutes, and then people will forget about me because I fall off the fantasy bandwagon. Because I have a group of friends. The group of friends, we've chosen our games for the year. I chose 30K. Another friend chose 40K 10th edition, which sucks, but okay. Another friend chose what's this game called? Conquest. And we have yet to choose a fourth game. I would like to play some more Old World. I mean, I didn't spend all that money not to play. I got a Bretonian right here, but those are the games that we're choosing. So we're going to run a crusade, and I'm going to get my orcs out. And, if my friend... And it's like I said, a lot of gamers these days are really just more or less friends of convenience. Oh, you play 40K, I play 40K, but you need help moving? Go fuck yourself. I'm not going to help you move. You want me to do manual labor? There was a friend of mine. Oh, God, I can't remember his handle name that I used to give him. I can't remember my own. He used to help me out on YouTube editing and everything like that. But he had a Creature Feature. My friend Creature Feature. I did manual labor for that man, and he decided that eating edibles, sitting on the couch with his kids, and doing nothing was more important. He got kind of like I call it pandemic brain. And a lot of millennials all gained an extra 40 pounds and became even lazier. That's pandemic brain. I don't begrudge him his decision. He can do whatever he wants. And I will not refuse him if he decides to come back and say, hey, blah, 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 let's get something started. Because when I was getting help from him, my channel was a little bit more successful. Without his editing skills and some of his photoshopping, I don't have the time with everything else that I'm doing to focus on those soft skills. So thank you, Hungar the Starbarian. I do from my impression is that the people hated Maduro. They hated Maduro. As to an inside deal, I don't think we were allowed to take him. I think we forcefully took him. And we have weapons like you wouldn't believe it. Let's say, okay, so TFM was a naval veteran. My friend Felix is a naval veteran. I'm sure things have drastically changed in terms of what we're capable of 15 years later. All right? This isn't the Iraq War anymore. So we might even have weapons that we might have kinetic weapons. I know that if you dump a boatload of Tomahawk missiles on anything, it's like, let me shoot you at 20 feet with a potato gun. I'll shoot you at 20 feet with a potato gun, and we'll see if you get back up. So what we did was a series of surgical strikes, very similar to shooting an individual with a potato gun at 20 feet, and then went in there, did what we had to do, and came out of it. Because once we cross back over the ocean, they can't chase us. We'll intercept them, and all we have to do is stun their air defenses momentarily enough to get in there. We did take fire. We returned fire in self-defense. That's enough to finish off. I mean, there could have been an RPG incident where we might have had to get those guys out of there or declare them a loss as we came out. But again, like I said, let me shoot you at 20 feet with a potato gun and see if you get back up. I don't think a backroom deal was made. I think we stunned them really hard, like flipping a turtle over onto its shell, took what we wanted, and left before the turtle got rolled over. Assassins. Yeah. Graft, corruption, bribery. Dude. Bo, again, that's all what it is. Some billionaire somewhere is going to benefit from this. But at the same time, you have to look at what's happening in the United States. I follow the oil markets. I'm heavily invested in oil. Oil is one of the only positions that I've won repeatedly, is trading oil and holding oil. I've lost on WTI. I will surrender that I've lost on WTI, but I've been able to resell and buy XLE, the oil ETF, and get dividends from that. And now it's one of my biggest positions. I've got like 200 shares of XLE now because of a stock split. And I'm buying more XLE because that's kind of like where my retirement is. And you look at how Gavin Newsom handled the oil companies recently in California. Valero left. ConocoPhillips left. Then Chevron left. They would all rather pay $1 billion to leave California than deal with California in their environmental bullshit. All right? And again, this is a big problem that we have politically in this country. We give more fucks about environmentalism than we do about making shit that other countries will buy. Gross domestic product. If we want to lower inflation in this country, we have to tell the environmentalist lobby to go and fuck themselves. And we have to make gross domestic product again, which means other countries were going to buy our goods. because that's the wealth of nations. What do we make that other countries will buy? And right now, it ain't looking too good. We got porn, autistic kids, financial services out of New York, and tech services out of Silicon Valley. And, healthcare. That's it. Yeah, those are real great exports. That's really going to make us some money right there. Died. Yeah, they've got assassinations out there. Assassinated. One taking out of the competition. Was Maduro a bad person? I need to know. Yeah. He was a dictator. I don't know. I mean, Rome used to elect a dictator to get rid of corruption. I fear, as American citizens, we are on the precipice of needing a dictator, a mustache man, to deal with certain elements in our government. And, this is a whole other thing together. Maybe we could talk about it next week. You have like a Jewish billionaire and what's his name? Bibi Yahoo saying we need to go after the First Amendment. You need to pipe all social media through us so that we can approve it because, you're not allowed, because the Goyim, they're starting to notice. They're starting to notice and they're starting to say anti-Semitic things on Facebook. Let me tell you how fucked up Meta Platforms is. If you mention fraud and Somali in the same sentence, your post gets deleted as a reply. If you mention Mud Shark Mom, Jewish propaganda in the same sentence, because who's been pushing miscegenation in the Western world the hardest? Who brings the refugees here? Jewish charities. So let me see here. The Ukrainian woman that I talked to at lunch with my Japanese tutor, because she invited me to New Year's lunch, and I went, and I talked to her. They were brought here by Jewish charities, along with a bunch of Africans. The Greppers. The Greppers bring these people to us, and they bring them here with their charity, and they get... so it's like, you look at all this, like, Somali daycare fraud shit, and then you look at, like, the Jewish charity fraud shit that's clearly going on, and it's all meant to bring migrants here, push propaganda to accept miscegenation. I'm sure there's propaganda all over the UK, and to my UK guys, you can send me Instagram propaganda saying it's okay to sleep with Pakistani men and miscegenate with them. I guarantee there's a lot of fucking propaganda in the UK to just accept Pakistani men and miscegenation with mudding down your gene pool with those bloody Pakis. There you go. And you can't call them bloody Pakis. But again, yeah, there's already an attack on our freedom of speech, and it starts with Zucchiniberg. Like I said, on Facebook and Instagram, you cannot mention fraud and Somalian in the same sentence without getting the post pulled. You can't mention mud shark moms and miscegenation propaganda without getting the post pulled if you mention Jews at the same time. There you go. So, let's see here. Yeah, I agree with you there, historical doppelganger. They're not. They have a lot of potential as a modern carrier of drones. So let's say one of these Trump class battleships just unleashes a swarm of drones that destroys a bunch of MiG-29 drones. All right, well, you've just lost a bunch of your ordnance potential right there. As a defensive measure, working from the other side of, let's say, because you have to come down to Japan from China, and then you have to go around the island system. Working around the island system, that's hundreds of miles right there. As a defensive measure, yes, I think the battleships have a lot of potential, especially if they're supported by a carrier group. And if they're just ordnance platforms and they're carrying more firepower than ever imaginable, yes. And then not to mention the way we make ships, they could be very hard to sink. You might hurt them, but you might not sink them. Some of these ships can take a pounding. They can take a pounding. The Iowa class, they could take a pounding. The Bismarck, it took a pounding. It took a lot to sink the Bismarck. They sent I think they sent 14 ships after the Bismarck to sink it, after they isolated it. Yeah, those ships do take a pounding. They're very hard to sink. I think you have to use anything that, God, what is I forgot, I'm having a brain fog right now. I think it's 5.56 ammo. The universal standard. You have to have the militia has to be on a universal standard so that they can share ammo. So 9mm and 5.56, which you hardly want. I think you want 45 caliber standard and 5.56. That's just me. Oh, Diversity and Dragons. Yeah, like I said, Diversity and Dragons, good guy. I've recently subscribed to him. Uh, I watched a show on New Year's Eve for Rumble for a little bit while I was painting and modeling. And yeah, like I said, if you guys want to try to get me on that show, you have to pester him. I can't pester him. Like I said, the gentleman is completely out of my league. Completely out of my league. I am small potatoes. In terms of good day, Fox. Catch me on the playback. Venezuela was having to eat zoo animals not long ago, and if you were on seeking arrangements, even though you have a range for where you set your dates, it seemed like somehow every Venezuelan chick in Zulia was trying to hit you up, and I'm like, well, you can get on a plane. I'm not going to pay for you to come out. Like who is dumb enough to do that? Can somebody tell me, please, for the love of God, can somebody tell me who is dumb enough to send a woman money to see if she'll show up? I'm certainly not dumb enough to do that. I'm never doing that in a million years. What's up, GM Cody? How you doing? Oh, here we go. Answer to my question here. That's all adverts and TV programs on British TV, basically. That LOL. It's all mixed race families, but usually without a white father present. Yes, there you go. That is all over the internet. This sickness has infected our media. No more white fathers. It's just miscegenation garbage. And then there's a reel going around on Instagram called Thought Daughter Gay Son. Thought daughter's with a bunch of black boys up in her room saying, Dad, I'm going to the room with my friends. And then the dad goes in on his son. He's like, hey, son, you want to throw the old pigskin around? No, Dad, I'm doing my makeup because I want to sparkle. There you go. Thought daughter gay son. That's what we see in our mainstream media these days. It's infected our art. It's affected our ability to produce art. And the result of this miscegenation propaganda is that white guys are eventually going to wake up, and we're like, oh, you want us to go out? You want us to go out, and support the global fucking majority? And this is what I don't get. Maybe there was some truth to take up the white man's burden by what's his name? Rudyard Kipling. Why should 8% of the world's population, I don't even think white guys are 8% of the world's population. I think we're like 4% of the world's population. Why should 4% of the fucking global population be responsible for babysitting a global fucking majority like Africans? People of African descent are a global fucking majority, and you want me to just be on board supporting them with my tax dollars and babysitting them so that they can basically wife up my nieces. Yeah. Makes a lot of fucking sense. And then why should I accept the fact that you got to my son through propaganda and bullshit in public school and made my son gay? Or at least make him think he's gay. I mean, RuPaul drag time TV shows should not be a thing on prime time. It should not, bringing this sickness should not be a thing on prime time. End of story. And this is where we have to draw the line. You have the weirdos in the Jewish-led media. I don't know if Jews control the media, but it seems that way. Pushing this white guys need to be gay agenda, black African-American males need to be gay agenda, and bringing this sickness to our children. They're bringing the concept of gay around children who are getting younger and younger. And that is unacceptable. It is no business of mine what gay guys do behind their closed doors. I don't care if you're gay. What patriarchal types need to start realizing and stating clearly that it is not okay to bring the concept of gay around young children. End of story. Done. That's pedophile. That reaches into pedophile shit there. Can we all agree that reaches a pedophilic line that we are not willing to cross? I agree with that. Anyway, I think we had a good rant. Let's get to the boring part of the stream. Yeah, but yeah, it's all bullshit miscegenation propaganda. It's okay to wife up a Pakistani Bonnie Blue. I mean, I wonder if didn't Bonnie Blue go to Pakistan with like a bus or something? And she's all like, Habibi, get out your I don't know what Pakistanis call themselves. It's probably Sabu or something like that. Sabu, get out your tallywhacker. Bonnie Blue, who's driving the bus? And the bus drives off of a cliff because feminism is a self-correcting problem. Well, that's good. I'm glad you were kind enough to bring me into your home during your morning ritual on Sunday. Sunday is a very sacred day for a lot of working people because you wake up on Sunday and you're like, I gotta go back to work tomorrow. I have to go back to work tomorrow. That sucks. I have to go to bed at 9 o'clock tonight because I noticed that when I'm one thing that I notice right now is that I've been at rest. I've been at rest and life has been good. I've gotten a lot of shit done. I cleaned the table last night. I'm organized. I got some of these speed paint markers. I spent a little bit more money this weekend than I should. I even sent my friend $200 to square up with him for printing me those what do you call it? Iron Circle Domitar guys, because he went through, my friend is such a perfectionist and God bless him. He went through, I want to say 4 STL files and 4 different print files before he settled on this one with the hard resin and everything. And none of the prior prints that he made for me, he said they don't look right. Give me some more time. And so, he's printed me 6 of them. The rest are on their way. He's printing me some shoulder pads. But, just the labor that he went through is like, okay, I'm going to sit down for 20 minutes and do a favor for a friend. And, so always think about it. Always think about the friend who does a favor for you. And I thought about him and I said, let's get squared up with him. I sent him the 200 and I said, how much do you want? He's like, I don't know, $200. He's also building me a, what do you call it? He's building me some dreadnoughts and a Sakaran. And when I get that other Sakaran made, I'm probably going to sell some Iron Warrior stuff because I don't need it anymore. Because I'm taking my army in another direction, and that feeds into the hobby to buy more Iron Warriors. Ugh. So, let's see if the big Cam wants to treat me good today. And let's see here. We're going to, let's minimize me. Let's make me extra little. We're going to go over here and we're going to go into frame. I don't like that. I am tiny, 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 tiny. That's good enough. We'll get rid of Aka-chan. We'll go to the relaxing portion of the stream. But yeah, I think we had a good talk today. So this guy's been on the table forever. I just recently finished him. And, you know, I could add a few more details if I wanted to. I could do some rivets here and there, but there's really no point. I am going to paint these tusks something. I think I'll paint them bone. So there's that. But I have some priming I got to do. I have a little... Can I get it? No. I need a fingernail to grab it. Uh-oh. I got a little shield here for my orc guy. It's going to go on him like that. Little chaos shield. Let's see here. Let's hurry up and do this, though. Grab this while I got it. Just put that in the palm. And, you know, paint markers are revolutionizing the way I do business. I'll tell you that much now. Okay. Good enough. They are revolutionizing the way I do business. I'm going to actually demonstrate something here. See this? That's all paint marker. This is all just paint marker. I am going to wash it with a strong tone, a watered down soft tone, but that's all paint marker with a little bit of paintbrush on the horse. That's it. These paint markers, and I've compared the two. I think I'm going to go with AK over the speed paint markers. I'll keep a couple of these. This is like more of like a wash, and whereas this is direct coverage over black or a base coat. I prefer the direct cover over black or a base coat compared to, it recommends just using these over white. I will try white models with this, but I don't traditionally do things that way. Hoplites usually start out white, which I'm going to get to because I'm clearing. So you're actually going to see me paint some historical shit for a change because I've got 29 fucking Macedonians over there in this box that I've got to paint. But I do like the direct cover. Not a fan of this brown. That's a very light brown, but once you wash it with Agrax, it looks good. That's what this is, washed with Agrax. And let's see here. We got anything else? No? We do have some priming that we got to do. Again, all marker. Now, one thing you can do is you can take this, this blue right here, marker your guy up, and then this marker actually acts as a good wash to darken up the blue. I do like how that darkened up the blue. And if I want to, I can go through and highlight, but I tend to want my Bretonians very clean. And then because I'm putting decal work here, here, and here, that's going to draw the attention anyway. So it won't matter. I've started my questing knight regiment. I only have 2 questing knights. I actually have to buy some questing knights. So let's see here. No, I believe I have 3. I'll have to double check. I believe I have 3 questing knights. I'm going to get the pewter kits, but I bought some fail cast because I wanted this version of the banner. I wanted this resin version of the banner to go onto the metal shaft that the questing knight BSB has. And then I have this BSB right here that I'm going to have to prime up. So let's get into it. We'll move over here because we're going to have some splatter probably. I'm going to do some priming. And then, okay, yeah. So I've learned a few tricks. And the trick is, always keep your gouger handy. Eight should be enough. With 1 drop of flow improver, and you have to mix it. Oh, that is not flow improver. That's alcohol. Oh, you have a good week, Offendatron69. Thanks for showing up. Thank you to everyone for inviting me into your home on Sunday. Oh, that might be too much flow improver. So... let's see if this works. Yep. We're just going to prime these up best we can. We don't need any more flow improver, but we're going to need another drop of white because I can already see the needle in there. The only problem I have with white is that it gunks up. It's one of the gunker paints. It's one of the gunky paints. See? See how it just splattered my arm like that? It shouldn't be able to do that. We might only want to prime up these wings. Let's get this little guy. He'll be fun. I don't know why he's on my table, but we're going to paint him anyway. Maybe I'll sell him or give him away. Or he'll become the battle standard bearer in my... He'll become the battle standard bearer in my nomadic Wa. See that? You see how it just speckles? There it goes. Shouldn't be able to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to loosen that, pull, push the we're going to push the needle out again. I don't want a lot of splatter on my Pegasus, dude. Try that very quickly. There it is, the splatter. And your jam. Oh, there we go. And you're jammed. Like I said, that's the problem with white. White is like, I don't know what it is with Blanco, but it is the most gunky fucking color on the face of the planet. goes. Okay, we gotta try to finish this off. The gunkiest piece of shit color on the face of the planet here. God, that pisses me off. Come on, baby. Of course not. Why would you? Fucking flow improver, whatever. We'll give it a shot. I only ever have problems with white. Very crumb bum color here. See if that'll loosen it up a little bit with a little bit of thinner. Get all that in there. Okay, I'd say we're out. We're out. We're in a good spot, though. Put a full drop of thinner right there. Because I still need it to work for me. That. Fuck you. Okay. Turn it down. Try that. I don't think we're going to get it. It's the only time I struggle is when I'm actually priming. There it goes. Because it like clogs for some reason. What's up, Optimus Prime? Just getting to the painting portion of the hobby today. Come on, you got some juice in ya. Let's do this. One more drop. One more drop. Don't seize up on me. Don't worry. I'll be gentle. I mean, I've got good consistency. I've got good consistency, but it doesn't want to do that. We'll do that. Put that there. It doesn't want to cooperate 100%. There it goes. That seemed to help deal with it. I think we can go the rest of the way now. Go to town on this guy. Let's see if we got anything left. Okay. There it is, the splatter. Okay, we're out. Do we have anything left? Just enough for this shield. Well, too bad. All right. Now it's time to clean. And you see how that just like, it looks like a little bit of like cheese is in there. That's the, and only white does this. Like black doesn't do this. It's only white for some reason. I got to find a different air color white. If anybody has any recommendations, because this stuff is good, but it's only good when it's mixed with something. Worst part of the fucking hobby right here. Really is. Here we go. Get in there. We'll get all this cleaned off. And then we'll pull the pin out just a little bit. Where's my elephant? The white paint clumps up abnormally. Text green, game over. Yeah, it does. That's the one problem I have. I might have to find a different air color white. And then let's see here. Where are my Q-tips? Oh, that's what happens. You reorganize, and then of course, whatever. The alcohol always makes short work of it, though. We're going to turn up our pressure. And I want you to watch this. Watch how much, see all those clumps that just come up in there once you get that alcohol activated on that? Fucking look at that. I got, you know, what's the point of having flow improver? Paint thinner if you just get clumps on the white. What is the point of that? And you've got little speckle spots everywhere, which really pisses me off. But I don't see the point of that. All right. Now we're going to pull the needle. Pull the needle. Dip it in alcohol. Oh, we got some alcohol right there. We're just going to... There we go. There's one. Fucking A. Did anybody see did anybody see that? It was like Moby Clumper here. The Moby Dick of all paint clumps. God. I'm like a level 10 unjammer of this thing. There we go. One more upchuck and upset. Okay. God, that is a monumental waste of time. But when you actually get this thing going, when you actually get it going, it saves you a crap ton of time. I'll tell you that much. Like if you just want to go for a surface real quick, you know, it can save you a lot of time. So let's go for a surface. We'll load up our next color. We're going to make a big bright red squig here real quick. And a bright red banner. Oh, I'll take that under advisement. Heat the paint bottle before use. All right. I could put that next to my space heater for a minute or something. I will, okay. So if you have fears about airbrushes, I wouldn't really ever want to have any fears about airbrushes. Airbrushes they're your friend. I put off getting an airbrush for way too long. You do have to clean them. That is the hassle, but the amount of time and work that I can get done in the space of a weekend because of an airbrush is exponentially larger. I did 2 Predators in one weekend because I had an airbrush. I did 10 Marines, 2 Rapier batteries, 2 a Tech Marine, and an Apophis Medicaid, all because I had an airbrush this weekend. All because I even finished this guy this weekend because I had an airbrush. There's a couple details I'm going to pick out, but again, no regrets on that. Let's try that. There we go. So let's try this. I'm gonna make these mushrooms red too. And I'm still learning. I'm still fooling around with it, and I might buy a new. I think I need a newer Badger, but this Badger Patriot, just I think it's like $80. One Badger Patriot 105. I like this thing. I really do. Let's see here. Missed a couple of spots, but we'll grab some of this stuff real quick. Throw it up on the tip of the tail, the heel here. It's really not worth another spray. Okay. Anywhere I decide to miss it. There. Like, my dry brush time has gone to 0, basically. I'm going to make this flag nice and red. Nice red flag. A big red raggedy flag. And then what we'll do is we'll put away our slaughter red. We'll switch up for a brown for our piggy. And this is where you can just clean it out real quick here. So I can just take a little bit of alcohol. Ditch it in there. Get my paper towel. I have to go over my trash can for this. We just load up our next color. That red will lighten up the brown a little bit, but that's okay. Turn it down one little notch for a little bit better control. We're going to go for our pig. It's hard to determine whether or not... I don't think he is. This orc is not wearing pants. You also have to learn your airbrush angles. We're going to go at his mouth a little bit, but we're going to turn down the pressure real quick before anything else. Turn the pressure down. Good. All right. We're going to paint this shaft here. We'll go into his mouth just a little bit. Okay. Let's get this rinsed out. We'll load up a different color now. That easy. Priming is the only hard, shitty part. Done. Yeah, you can see those white clumps floating around in there. I have no idea what causes that. It sucks. It does suck in that capacity. Let me rip one out here. All right, we're ready for the next color. Okay, so we're not going to use any brown here. What we're going to do is I have a little bit of armor that I've got to get done first. And I think we're going to want to use a very low pressure first and foremost. And these are all the speed paints. We're going to kind of just wash this guy's armor. This is going to be the messiest part of the orc, but I think the orc will lend itself very well. And then this is where I will have to stop, is after the metallics, because the flakes. But, hear me out here. You can already see we're getting the metal on them real quick. And it's just, it's a more, I'd say it's a more speedy process. Just, you know. So I just kind of spray it in on them. Because that's going to be, that's like the most messy part of the model. This guy, a little bigger, probably a little easier. Let's give it a shot. Because my friend, he, you know, I'm just trying to get to his level. And I think I need lower pressure. Okay, let's try this pressure. And just going for the face on his gob. Go for his gauntlet here. Is he wearing? Oh, he is wearing armor. because then we can use the, what do you call it, the black. I just want to kind of pick his armor out. I'm a crazy person. And you can just kind of pulse, use it like a pulse rifle to go after it. Because there's other washes and shit that I got to put on as I go. But as far as like analog doing this, hell no. I can just save a little bit of time. Work on my control skills. You know, just like that. Work on that. That's something, that's a New Year's resolution right there. You know, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. What I fuck up, I can do with a brush. But learning control is something that I want to kind of do this year. Control. Control. You must learn control. Yeah, this Night Goblin's wearing some heavy-ass armor. That's all. We're almost out. Oh, yeah. Now on the Bretonian, a little bit of a clog there, but that's okay. There. It's about the extent of the metallics on him. I'm gonna check and see what metallics this guy has. This guy's gonna be a bitch. But I'm gonna try to challenge myself with him a little bit here. I think what I'm gonna want to do with him is wash him with strong tone first and then paint him. Because he's more color and he doesn't have... I thought he would... Other than this shield here that I've gotten out, which I'll just do up real quick, he doesn't have a lot of metallic on him. He's more fabric. We're going to do one more color. We're going to start on the the flesh of the orc, and then we'll get out. But for that, we're going to pull the pin. And get the flakes off of it. Bit of a longer stream today. Oh, that's a lot of flake. That's okay, though. We are going to switch back to inks. This is what I call blowing it out of the goddamn airlock. Another good drop of alcohol here. Should be clean. Yep, very minimal flaking. So as you can see there, there's very minimal flaking. So we're ready to rock and roll again. And I don't buy airbrush cleaner. I just use 99 proof, 91 proof. But that bubble water right there, it's all done. And to start off with our goblin flesh here, put him back because he's gonna be a lot of other colors, and I have to wash him. I think I'm gonna wash him with I don't know if I'm gonna hand wash him, but I think I'm gonna hit him with strong tone first and then paint him, because he's got a lot of moving parts. I'd like to come back on stream and do him, but you know, like I said, we're at the end of a 2-hour stream here, and we're I see just a little bit of metal flake in there, so we're gonna get rid of this batch real quick. We're gonna get rid of this batch, and where's a Q-tip? Let's get a Q-tip. We'll go one more time. One more time. Yeah. All right. All right. Now I think we're ready. Too heavy. All right, let's see here. Let's get our orc guy. And we're going to build his skin up with this ink first. Control. Control. You must learn control. There we go. As you can see, the green's starting to go on them. It's starting to stick. I usually like to do 2 little coats of ink on these guys. Let's use up the remainder of that on here. We're not going to have to worry too much about here. As a matter of fact, what I can do real quick is an interlude, because that ink already dried, so that I can just get my brown, my satchel brown. Without having to reload. And I can just go in here onto his fabric and everything. He's got a little bit of a leather strap there. I even come down here on his boot. Now, unfortunately for the pig, that is going to require brushwork. We just laid the groundwork for a brown pig is all. So any of his fabric here, and you notice we can just keep that dark down there. That doesn't matter. We can come across his ropes here with this. He's wearing some kind of a necklace. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit that with the brown. What we're going to do his bracelet on this arm real quick. We got the bottom portion of his banner that we missed with the airbrush. No, painting never ends. Sorry. But we're about at the tail end of the stream, so, you know, I mean, what's a few details here and there on the way out? Okay, so we got that. And then we get out one of my favorite colors here, but we're going to get out my detail brush real quick because we did miss this little piece of flesh right here. Like I said, he's got like a necklace on. I'll try that. He's got a necklace on, so that does kind of break up his face a little bit. So we're going to just I can zoom in just a little bit. Sorry about that. I usually keep it wide because I'm always moving around. All right. And then while I've got this color out, let's start to pick out his face here just a little bit. He's even got a septum piercing. All orcs have to have a septum piercing. Okay, good. I was double checking to make sure his ear wasn't pissed into oblivion. The Perrys, who I think sculpted this 6th edition orc boar boy, I think what they always like to put jewelry on these guys, and I wanted to make sure that his wasn't jeweled to all hell. Now, if I wanted to, I could do this with the airbrush, but the problem with the Citadel paints, the Citadel air, is that's a different process beyond the scope of this video. Citadel air sucks. Like, why didn't you put your air colors in a draw? Why didn't you go to Vallejo, learn how to make air? Here you go, Games Workshop. Go to Vallejo, learn how to make air paints, and then learn how to make dropper bottles, you fucking retards. I don't even know why I'm painting in here, but you are going to be able to see the top part of his flesh right there. Down here, the shield's going to cover that up. He's got the boss thing right there. But you can see just like with how little effort you can ramp up this orc boy's face with just a little bit of effort. Let's waste the rest of our ink and call it good for today. Going to get rid of all open-ended projects on this table and start 2026 the right way. Inks, baby. Here we go. And the reason why we're doing inks first on the goblin is because this whole apparatus right there, he's a night goblin, it's going to be black. But you can see what that does over the white paint really good. Control. You must learn control. Okay. Good deal here. Let's do one more time on this side. You see how well that ink just saturates it. So we started with the ink first. Then we can go over here with the black and just get his robe real quick. That's a story for another time. we go. All right. That escalated a little bit faster than I thought it would. So let's see here. I can still pick at some of these leftovers if I wanted to. If I wanted to for this pig. Now this color, before I sign out, this color, real sweet honey of an airbrush color right here. Even better when you mix it with a little bit of bone. This light brown color here. That's about all we need to emulsify. Let's see here. Let's see what this does to our brown. Yeah. And all you need is just a little bit, and you can just kind of like build this brown up in layers on this pig here. And I bet you I have enough to do the whole highlight on this guy, on this pig beast. Other, you can put your light brown as you can just dust it like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that action a lot. Get the rest of that. Yeah. And then once you wash this with the strong tone, you have a pretty good blended pig. Well, there we go. Let's get out. There we go. Well, we actually had some viewers on YouTube towards the end of this. Satchel Brown covers masks very well. Let's see, any plans for... Any plans for my Imperial Fists, or are you talking to someone else? I don't have any plans for my Imperial Fists 30k army at this point. I do know they need a third tack squad. I have 10 guys over there. I might paint them as Imperial Fists, but my Imperial Fists are wearing gold armor. I bought an eBay army. They were purple and gold, and silver, and what is this? Templar Reaper Blue. So they don't even look like Imperial Fists. I bought it because I wanted to try 30k, and it's like, okay, I'm going to be out $700 either way. This army's painted. It had 30 Terminators. Looked like a good deal. $700 done. It's easier just to sample a game if you buy an eBay army, the end, rather than go through the stress and pain of getting into a game you might not like, and then you can re-eBay the army or display it. There's a lot of good painters out there. So I want to thank everybody for coming out today. It's been a productive stream, I guess. And like I said, if you guys want me to be on Diversity and Dragons, you'll have to clip my reels and send them to him. I can't bug the guy. Like I said, he's in a completely different league. If you want to get in touch with me after the stream, Instagram DMs are the best way to get in touch with me. I'm pretty prompt to answer my Instagram DMs. And if you want to support me, you make sure that you leave a like and a comment after the stream. For every 8 likes I get on YouTube, YouTube will let me keep one of those likes, but if you leave a comment and a like, I get to keep the like and comment. That's usually how it works for algorithmic suppression. If you're following me on Rumble, thank you very much. Links are all in the description below. In case I don't see you, keep painting, keep playing. Don't forget to tie up your loose end projects, and we'll see you in the next live.